hunting,
fishing,
cooking,
camping,
conservation,
travel,
gardening,
photography, family.
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 This is the Outdoor Rules Podcast.
We're recording now?
Yeah.
What?
You didn't even know.
This
He
is
can
a
edit
terrible
it out.
podcast. So far, this is terrible.
Allison, the whole thing's a terrible podcast.
No, it's usually better than this.
That's the whole
This is
idea.
awful.
It's all one big terrible podcast.
We haven't even talked about anything. Jeez.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Outdoor Rules Podcast. This is going to be a good one. Caitlin, where are we at?
We are in Immigrant, Montana.
Beautiful Immigrant, Montana, in the shadow of Immigrant Peak, right?
Yep,
God, it's nice here, isn't it?
it is. Yep.
We
Always feels like home when we're back here.
I know. We flew into Bozeman yesterday morning. We're here for a wedding for the weekend and visiting friends, and drove over Bozeman Pass coming down into Livingston. I said to Caitlin, it just feels like coming home every time. And so we're here with some very dear friends of ours. I'm going to have Mike and Alison go ahead and introduce themselves. Alison, go for it.
I'm Alison Himmelspach.
I'm her husband, Mike. I grew up in the area, been here all my life.
Yeah, so one of the really special things about being young and coming into this part of the world, at least for me, and I think a lot of other people have had this experience, is, I came to Yellowstone in my early 20s at first, and then kind of came back in my mid-20s after graduate school. And it is a very small, very tight-knit community. And Robert was actually asking Caitlin and I on the way over here yesterday how we met you guys, and I had to really think about it because we've been friends for so long. It's like, oh yeah, how did that all happen? And my recollection is that, after probably 2006 or something, I joined a softball team in Yellowstone. And again, this is like this really small, kind of tight-knit group of people. And, you don't have to expand your circle very much before you really start making these new connections. So I joined that softball team, and I met a couple who lived here and worked for the park concessionaire at the time, which is a company called Xanterra. So, they help to run all the hotels and, all the other stuff that the guest services in the park that the Park Service doesn't do. And they are Clark and Wendy Dodd. And Clark and Wendy are a little older than me, but these really cool, outdoor-focused, genuinely nice Midwestern people from Michigan. And then through Clark and Wendy, hanging out with them, being invited to do something, who knows, whatever it was, away from softball, then we met you, right, Allison?
Yeah. I recall you guys were having some kind of social gathering at your house. And I think it was right before I met Mike, but I kind of tagged along a lot with Wendy and Clark in those days. And so, yeah, I just tagged along with them to the party, and that's where I first met you guys. And then I don't know how much longer it would have been, not too long,
It's 6 months later.
Yeah, that I started dating Mike. And so I take credit that he really met you guys through me.
For sure.
And your relationship with Clark and Wendy goes back to prior to this part of the world, right?
It does, yeah. So at the university I attended in Michigan, Ferris State University, shout out Bulldogs. Wendy was the director of the Student Recreation Center. And so when I was attending college there, I actually worked for her. There was a rock climbing wall, and we did some outdoor trips. So I met Wendy from working for Wendy. So I've known Wendy since probably 2000 or so. Yeah.
And you had an outdoor recreation degree, right?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Clark is a baseball coach.
Yeah.
Was she the baseball coach at the university?
No, for a high school.
For a
there.
high school.
Yep.
And Clark is a baseball coach in all the best ways. I really mean that. He's the guy you want to be your coach. Like, he's super encouraging. He's very positive. He's really knowledgeable. He's fun to be around, but he's serious enough that like you get some instruction.
Yeah.
And so Clark, missing his baseball coaching days, was essentially our softball team's coach and manager. And that was really, it was really fun to form that connection and then to meet you guys through that. One of the things that I would say about the way that you generally meet people and the relationships that you form here, a lot of it is with other people with similar experiences. So like, Caitlin and Allison and I all came to this country from different places, and you're kind of in that situation where you don't know a lot of people. So, there are the connections you form. Mike, your story is different, right?
Yep. I was born in Livingston, just down the road, and grew up in the area, so I knew a lot of people already. And then a lot of people come here for work, and just a lot of people coming in the park and working. And that's how I met Clark through a buddy, Josiah. They worked together running dog sleds. And then that's how I met Allison, is through my buddy Josiah also.
See, that's funny because I knew Josiah was involved in that story, but I didn't know it was. I knew Clark ran dog sleds, but I didn't know that Clark and Josiah ran dog sleds together. So that's how you guys met, and then add Alice into the equation.
It's kind of funny because if you ask people like, "Oh, how did you two meet?" Mike always loves to tell people we met at a bar because we really did the first time we met, but it was through Josiah. So I'll always say, well, we met through a mutual friend, but he always says a bar.
Mike's quite the romantic.
He really is.
No, and I think then really when you start to add those connections with some local folks, and I had the pleasure of meeting some other ranchers through other connections here in Paradise Valley, but it really, like, the world gets to be really small to the point where, like, you almost feel like everybody from the park boundary to Livingston, right?
Yeah, I mean, everyone, it's like, oh, yeah, I know so-and-so, and, I know that.
Right.
That connection,
Yeah, you're friends with those ranchers. Or, I work for that outfitter. Or, like, we did, even in the park, like, we did contract work with that log builder to build that fish barrier or whatever we were doing. And I mean, it really is kind of like amazing how tight this community is. And then, how quickly you can really form strong bonds with people with mutual interests. I mean, I don't know, Caitlin, do you want to kind of tell the story about Mike and Allison and kind of how we really came to be friends?
Well, what I was just thinking when you were talking about how you end up meeting people, one of them is just being out and about hunting or hiking or fishing or whatever. And at least at that time, there weren't a ton of people here anyway. So I feel like that's places where you run into somebody and it turns out you end up their hunting buddy forever. And that's kind of what happened in our relationship, I feel like. I'm not sure the first time we all went out hunting together. Do you guys remember where we would have gone up Trail Creek or I don't know?
8 Mile.
Was it really?
Mile.
Yep, 8 Mile.
Yeah, I think so.
That was the time that
by Skillman's old camp and the water tank back there.
That we all went together, you mean, or we bumped into each other?
No, we all went
all went
together.
together. Yeah.
He had that big Palomino horse.
Yeah, I had Dallas.
Yeah, with the stick.
That big Palomino horse. And you guys rode through between two trees or something, and it was just a little narrow, and he wouldn't go. And I think I had to kick him a bone. I don't know how that ended up happening. And I said to Mike, and we'll get into this, but, Mike is a lifelong horseman and a great packer, great horseman. And I am 100% not that, just enough with horses to be dangerous. And Mike kind of watched this whole, mini rodeo of me trying to get Dallas between these two trees. And I said, Mike, what do I need to do to get through that situation? You said something like, I don't know, you might want to think about getting a short club and whacking him between the ears. Which I know you wouldn't do that, but that was a hard-headed horse that just didn't want to cooperate.
He was scared of a trickle of water the width of a pencil.
Yeah, he had some issues, old Dallas. But that is part of, I think, how we all ended up together was, you find these little pockets in the community of people who are really into similar things. And so Caitlin and I, we were leasing a couple of horses at the time. So, we were in that little bit of, hunting with horses community, and you guys were too. And then it really just dovetailed nicely that, we really tagged along with you guys. You saved our butts and probably kept us from dying. And
we benefited from that relationship for sure. For sure.
Yeah. And though just through that and then all the other things through the years, throughout the rest of the year outside of hunting season, whether it's fishing stuff or just going to Chico Hot Springs here in the valley and watching live music or whatever it is that you do, I think really quickly became friends and
yeah, very quickly.
Really been a close and lasting friendship, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah, it's awesome to be here.
For sure. We like having you guys back.
Which we can't believe because Mike and Alison have this beautiful place where literally I'm looking out the window at Immigrant Peak here, and it's nice and quiet, serene and peaceful. And we brought our children into this equation, and it's been anything but quiet.
Yeah.
They're fun.
It's definitely the rural NATO.
Yeah, the rural NATO. So, Mike, I don't know. I guess talk a little bit about the whole hunting with horses and how you got started with horses and how that transitioned into hunting and those experiences, because you've kind of done a little bit of everything.
Yeah, so I grew up in the area. I was never really interested in school or nothing, but I got through high school and everything, and all I'd ever really wanted to do was hunt and be a mountain cowboy, But so I did that through most of my 20s.
And when you say mountain cowboy, like what was the work? What were you doing?
So you're taking horseback rides. You go to work for an outfitter, a horseback outfitter, because there's lots of outfitters out there, and not a lot of outfitters anymore use horses or any sort of livestock, but it's kind of a dying thing, just the expense and the work of it. Not a lot of young people interested in it. It was like when I was a kid. But so, yeah, like in the summer, you're doing horseback rides, taking tourists on day trips, which is, pretty enjoyable. And then the fun stuff is like the pack trip. You're packing into the mountains and setting up backpacker tents, or you might go to a set camp with wall tents and everything, and then riding out from there, going on doing little day trips and fishing mountain lakes or creeks or whatever, just hunting arrowheads, all that sort of fun stuff. And then the big money maker for most outfitters is the hunting. And so, like in the area I've outfitted, they have a early season rifle hunt that starts September 15th, and I don't know, there's just something real special about being in the mountains like that September. If you could have multiple months of September, I don't think you could ever go wrong. If you could have 3 Septembers, it would be perfect.
Yeah.
But so yeah, it was. I've always loved the month of September for hunting. Especially like there's, I don't know, when you hear that first bugle, like there's frost on the ground and a bull elk just screaming. There's just something that makes you really feel alive.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I did that for quite a few years, and it does, like, you hunt for 12 weeks or whatever. By the 12th week, you're ready for it to be over for sure,
Yeah, it's a long season here in Montana. If you start in archery season, you can start hunting September 1st, and then we're right now, so we're here kind of the middle of October, and you're in the break right now, right?
Yeah.
Archery season closed?
It'll close this next Saturday.
Okay, so it's still open.
Yep.
And then there's a 1 week break, is that right?
Yep.
And then the rifle season opens.
Yep.
And that always goes to the Sunday after Thanksgiving.
Correct.
So if your big moneymaker for the year is outfitting or guiding hunters, like you're saying, you work pretty solid for 12 weeks.
Yeah, and it's all like a horseback thing. You're always up 2:30, 3 in the morning and catching, saddling horses, and then you want to get to your hunting spot at first break of day normally. Like that's the best hunting, it seems like, at first light. So you're trying to get there extra early, and it can be challenging with folks that aren't used to riding much or anything, or riding some nasty slick trails or wherever in the dark. People get pretty nervous sometimes.
Yeah. I know I do. I mean, that's why I always wanted to follow you up the mountain, because I thought, well, I get myself killed out here on my own, but if I'm following Mike, I'll probably be okay.
Is there an experience with a client or whatever that sticks out to you as either memorable for really positive reasons or scary ones?
Not so much, I wouldn't say. Like, I've had pretty good luck and everything. Like, you can see, I guess, trying to stop wrecks before they happen. If you see something like, you see a hunter like not riding his horse very well, it's like, hey, sit up in the saddle, and or like, maybe we'll just get you off and walk you if you can't ride your horse. And that's the biggest thing, is a lot of people like get scared and they just freeze up and end up falling off.
Yeah.
What qualifies as a wreck? Because this is like a term I didn't understand. Like, I didn't understand this existed until I came into this country and started working around horses. But a wreck is what?
So, like, for me, like, a wreck is, say you got, like, a bunch of animals packed up. You got clients' gear or whatever, your own gear, and you're going to or from camp, and then you look back and you got a mule saddle it's not packed properly, like weights off or ropes are loose or something, and it's tipping to the side, and maybe it's a young inexperienced animal, so it just loses its mind and ends up bucking the saddle off or something, and then that saddle ends up getting. We had a wreck one time. This big roan horse, the saddle pad had slid back, and he ended up bucking the pack saddle off, and he had 2 wild mules tailed to it, the pack saddle, and they drug that thing halfway back to camp before we could get him chased into the timber and caught. And so, like, my buddy Josiah, again, like, his belongings were packed on this saddle that got bucked off. So, I don't know, for about a mile, we were picking up his underwear and stuff. So I would consider that a wreck. You have a lot of mishaps, but...
That's a wreck.
Yeah.
Stuff strung out all over the forest.
Yeah, like, it looks like, oh, someone's having a yard sale out here. Weird spot, but...
I think that the more experience you get, the higher your bar is for wreck. I think I've probably had a lot of things I thought were wrecks that you maybe wouldn't have thought were. Yeah. You ever been hurt?
I've been kicked a handful of times here and there. I broke an arm one time, right below my shoulder, I guess. I don't know what you call this part of the arm, but I got thrown off a green horse, I guess, and just that laid me up for a little while, but that was the worst of.
So no, you've not really been hurt, just a broken arm. And
yeah.
That sounds right.
You still pack, though.
Yeah,
you could still saddle horses with your one arm.
Yeah.
I don't know how, but you still did it.
Yeah, and I think that one of the things that's amazing about watching somebody like you, Mike, and this really experienced horsemen in this country, and women, I don't mean to limit it to men, because some of the very best horsemanship I've seen is from women. We have some friends that are really, really amazing, but it's just the breadth of skills that you all have. I mean, you can obviously saddle and ride a horse, including green horses. You can break horses, you can shoe horses, which, I mean, that's really a skill unto itself.
Yeah, that's completely different. There's a lot of good horseshoers and farriers out there that don't have a lick of, like, they don't even know how to saddle a horse.
Right.
But they know how they should walk and be, balance their feet and get them shod properly.
But then, like, the riding a horse is a whole different set of skills from packing horses and mules.
Yeah, especially like Allison's learned a lot more about properly riding and, having good control of a horse.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, like you're saying, if you're packing clients, 10 miles into a camp and you got a string of horses or mules that have to be packed, and, you might have one person, right? You might be leading 8 or 10 pack animals.
Yeah.
And you have to have your eye on 8 or 10 packs, because anything that's not packed right isn't going to ride right. And if it doesn't ride right, it's going to fall off and it might cause you a wreck.
Oh, yeah, very much. And the longer the season goes on, these animals get more broke, I guess, or tired. Mm-hmm. And so they're more prone to putting up with fitting packs or packs that are rolling. And so you can just go back and roll them up, snug the cinch up. It's not right, but
right. But at the beginning of the season, they won't put up with that baloney.
No, not normally, no.
Yeah, and just the packing alone, I think, is such an incredible skill to see somebody that's good at it. It sounds easy. I mean, maybe it doesn't, but even if it doesn't sound easy to you to pack stuff onto a horse or a mule, it's much, much harder than it sounds, because essentially you have to be perfectly balanced, right? I mean, what are kind of the tricks?
It really, so I went to work for, like, when I first learned to pack, it was just you'd get everything close, weighing it, picking it up, picking up your panniers or your manny loads, and it never failed. You'd get a little ways from the barn, you'd have fixed packs because they were never weighing quite right. And then I went to work for another guy, and we started weighing everything with a scale. Solved most of those problems.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you're essentially trying to take a whole bunch of stuff that's random crap, whether it's, sleeping bags and sleeping pads and people's clothing and all the food and, maybe feed for animals.
Yeah, you got horse feed. I packed a guitar one time.
Wedding dress.
A wedding dress.
Wow.
Left nice rope marks across it.
No. You weren't wearing the wedding dress, were you, Mike?
Nope.
No, but, it starts, like, if you ever watch one of these operations, it starts with this mountain of gear. And I have never yet met a packer that didn't look at the mountain of gear and the first thing they do is complain about all the stuff that you're bringing. I think it's almost like an obligatory thing. Like, you got to curse under your breath about all the stuff that everybody wants to bring on the trip. And then they go to work. The people like you go to work on it, and somehow it's like almost this magical thing where this mountain of stuff ends up. And you mentioned a couple of things there, Mike. You mentioned panniers, which can either be a hard or like a hard box almost, or a soft bag, and those get hung on the sides of the saddle. A manny, what's a manny?
So a manny load, it's just like you take a big canvas tarp and you lay it out, put all your gear in there or whatever, and fold it up like a Christmas present and tie it together, tie it up with rope.
Where do you put it?
On the side, and then you tie it to the side of your pack animal.
Or if it's light enough, you can top load it across.
Yeah, or you can top pack it.
Yeah. And, so then, like, it's this huge process of serious work just to get the stuff like packed up so that it can be, I mean, because that's the first step. If you build your manis wrong, or you don't load your panniers even, or, you know, whatever it is, any of that could come back to bite you later.
Yeah, and I mean, like after you do it long, you know, even just a short amount of time, you're like, oh, I'm going to do this right the first time because I don't want to stop.
Well,
It's going to cut into a lot of time where you could be just riding.
right. And so then you got to go from that to actually getting it onto the animals. So now, you know, like you're saying, perfect world, now you're at your trailer, right? And everything's tied up and nice and calm, and there's no rush, and, you know, nothing's trying to kill you, right?
Yeah.
And
that's ideal.
And so then there's kind of two, real quick, just talk about those, the two types of pack saddles.
So there's a Sawbuck pack saddle and a Decker pack saddle. The Decker pack saddle's like real popular here in Montana. That's what most everybody I know and all the outfitters and everybody uses. In Wyoming, the Sawbuck pack saddle is real popular, which I don't know why, which you just kind of loop your panniers over there, over the bucks, over the cross bucks, and then the Deckers are like a hoop type deal, and you have Decker hooks that hang off the side of them.
Right. Those Sawbuck saddles are much more popular in New Mexico, I've learned, too.
Okay.
Like almost nobody
Uses a Decker.
Yep. And so if you're trying to imagine it, they call it a Sawbucks because if you imagine like an old-fashioned sawhorse that's got an X on the top of it, like you would lay a log into that X and it would lay there, that's what the top of the saddle looks like. And like you're saying, you can either hook stuff off of there or tie to it.
Yep.
And with a Sawbuck saddle, you have a lash rope, right? So your rope is completely independent of the saddle usually.
Normally.
Right. And it's got like it almost looks like a cinch on the belly.
Yep, it is they call it a last cinch. And like those packers that are good with it, you'll see them like get their rope all set and throw that cinch over, and then they'll just reach over and
catch it when it swings under the belly.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
And then like they'll just one person tie a diamond hitch. Like I could never pack like that.
Yeah. I don't know. I bet you could. I bet it wouldn't take you all that long to learn. And then the Decker, like you're saying, it's got the metal rings over the horse's back, and you can tie to that. And usually there's a rope that's actually tied on. They call it a sling rope.
Yep.
Tied on the front loop, and then it goes around the back of the back loop and hangs down from there. And they, like you're saying, they are really popular here in Montana. It's Ray Hull's saddle company that really...
He's out of Idaho.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, so... Like, yeah, everyone's got Ray Hull's pack saddles.
They're kind of the top of the line pack saddle.
Yeah.
But so whether you're doing this on Sawbucks or on a Decker, when everything's nice and the weather's beautiful and the sun is shining, you know, you get everything onto each animal tied to the trailer, right? And then you connect your animals together. So literally, like the halter rope from one horse is tied to the saddle of the horse or mule in front.
Yep. And you just I call it tailing together, but because back in the old days, they just take your lead rope from your one pack animal and tie it to the tail of the animal in front of it. Like, not many people do that anymore.
Right.
And there's not good enough.
To the actual tail?
Yeah, there's not enough. I don't think there's probably enough good hands out there anymore to pay attention. Like, because you got to be real careful. You'll pull them tails off. Or, pop them out.
That probably upsets the horse whose tail is being... That could lead to a wreck.
But that's
I think so.
Yeah.
But so, now you just have like a pig and string with a breakaway or something on it. And
and you're talking a breakaway is literally like a thinner piece of rope so that if something happens, that will break instead of the horse behind literally like jerking the saddle off of the horse.
Yeah, or jerking your whole string down the side of a mountain, which is real. You don't want that. It's
right. And this is like another. Actually, it's funny because I didn't intend this podcast to be all about packing, but it's so interesting. to me. And maybe some of our dozens of listeners, who knows. but, you know, again, another thing to know is, and you watch people that do this a lot, I mean, you are making an estimation about every animal in that string, right?
Yeah.
I mean, because there's some, if you know all your stock really well, you know, oh, I can't put that one behind that one because that horse will bite that mule, or that mule kicks, and, you know, that one follows close, or the one I'm actually going to lead, because obviously the very first animal, you're going to have the lead rope. You're going to lead from your saddle horse. And so you kind of got to know something about what's going to happen. But if you don't know the critters, then you got to
just go for it.
Yeah.
You go for it and make adjustments along the way.
There you go.
What's the longest string you've ever packed in somewhere?
I don't know, probably 12 animals, but like one time we were packing out a camp, and like on the way back we strung them all together, and there was 19 animals. It's kind of neat. So, but we made another guy lead them. But it's kind of neat seeing all those animals like just clippity-clopping along, you know.
Man, if you have never seen 8 or 10 animals in a string, it is an impressive thing to watch. It is a lot of livestock going down the trail, you know, and it is a lot of opportunity for something to go wrong.
Oh, yeah, because every animal thinks for itself.
Right.
And, like, so back in the 88 fires, like, they'd had tons of mules they were using to assist the firefighters. And I guess it was pretty common to have, like, you know, 20, 30 mules all strung out going together. And it's like, well, you just listen for them going across the bridges and all that, you know, at the end, 'cause you can't see. Some guys like to tie, like, a white mule or horse at the end, you know, so they can
see that one.
Yep, they know it's the end.
It's smart.
Smart to me.
So, you know, like we're saying now, you know, now you've got everything tied together and you're leaving the trailer. Now, everything that happens from there to wherever you're going, the difficulty magnifies by an order of magnitude. In my experience, and again, I did a very little bit of this kind of stuff on my own. I probably never had more than 4 or 5 animals strung together, you know, and I usually had good help around. But every now and then it was me and maybe one other inexperienced person. But like everything that happens after you leave the trailer is just so much harder, because it's not this controlled situation, right?
No, very limited control. I mean, you know, you're on a rocky trail, and you might have been in and out of there yesterday, but maybe a big windstorm come up overnight and drop, you know, half a dozen trees on the trail again. And so you're either going to have to saw them or step around them. And it's, you know, you're going down the trail, you know, ropes come loose, and
and you know,
saddle and cinch might not have got tightened up good.
Right, like you're saying, you're on the side of a steep hill and you look back and there's a pack saddle coming off. You don't really have a lot of choice. You can make a little bit of a calculation, like, well, maybe that's going to hang on there long enough to get off of this nasty spot that we're in. But if it's not, you gotta fix it there, and there might be nowhere to tie any animal. And now you got to get down on the ground with these critters that are all loaded up, and they know this isn't like totally normal that we're stopped here in the middle of this hill, and depending on how good they are, they can start to get a little bit antsy, right? And do silly things and kick each other.
You got them all all tied together there. You know, it's best to keep them all strung out. You know, you stop. Mm-hmm. They want to start grazing, or they could start getting knotted up.
Right, they start grazing. They step over the lead rope in front of them. They get a rope under their tail. Some horses and mules are real sensitive about it. And it's just like, and then you go all the way to the other thing, like you're saying, that wreck with Josiah, where you got a yard sale for a mile.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, you got to try to catch your other critters.
Yeah.
And the longer they're loose, the more likely it is they're going to run their pack against a tree and, start scattering stuff. And you got to pick all the stuff up along the way because you got to have it to repack when you get there. It's like a real thing.
Oh, yeah. It can be a heck of an ordeal.
Yeah. And then it's always like people like you, I think, you all kind of have this like pretty calm demeanor about it. Like you just said, like it can be a heck of an ordeal. In my mind, like it's like a nightmare for me.
Yeah, and I mean, it can really get you frustrated and shook up, I guess. But like it's all there. That horse or that mule, boy, they're really going through an ordeal right now.
Right, as they buck all your crap off. But no, to kind of get back to where this started, the kind of work that you're talking about doing, like you gotta have some rapport with clients. I mean, you can't be out there if you're just, if you're absolutely no good with people. You got to have that. You got to have all these horsemanship skills. You got to be out there and kind of enjoy the challenge of mountain weather during hunting season. And this place can, between the beginning of September and the end of November, this place throws everything at you.
Yeah, it's not always enjoyable. It can be, I don't know, sometimes the wind just seems more miserable than anything, but then you get the cold weather on top of that. Every few years it seems like it'll dip into below zero weather for a while, which makes the hunting so much better.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think you got to enjoy being miserable a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for sure.
You got to look at everything that comes with this as a challenge. You got to be the kind of person that wants to overcome challenges, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because this is all, you talked about shoeing horses and all the other things. Horse throws a shoe, horse goes lame. I mean, you just have to be able to deal with whatever the situation is all the way up to and including somebody getting seriously hurt.
Yeah, which, like, I've been lucky. I've never had someone get seriously hurt. The worst I'd ever had a hunter, he ripped his horse, drug him under, like, a low-hanging branch and rip part of his finger off.
Thank goodness it wasn't serious.
He's got 9 other ones, right?
You got all them other fingers, as long as it wasn't his trigger finger, right?
Yeah. And like he rode out and went and got stitched up and everything, and then he came back at a later date. But
wow.
Oh man.
But yeah, so I mean, it really it's visiting with hunters, like especially if the weather's bad, you start a little fire, warm up and just visit with them. It goes a long ways, and because you got to remember, we're out here to have fun, and everyone just wants to have an enjoyable time.
Yeah.
No matter, and being able to improvise, and the hardest part, like if your plan A hunt didn't work, it's like keep coming up, like, let's, let's see if we can hunt this out. That's the hardest part when the hunting's slow.
Right.
Is always keeping good, like, decent hunts.
Allison, is that what we were doing that night coming out of Tom Minor? Just having fun?
Hey, I still would have rather rode down, which is what we did, than be in the truck.
Actually,
I was just passenger princess. I mean, that was,
That was the Rock Creek Road.
Oh, yeah. Actually, I do want to tell that story because it's maybe my favorite time with you guys that we hunted together. But just for a little bit of context, Allison, can just lay the geography of this place out a little bit, like starting on the south end, starting on the park boundary, going up to Livingston. Just kind of like, where in the world are we?
I feel like Mike should talk about that, being the born and raised guy here.
So we're about, half an hour, 45-minute drive from the Yellowstone park boundary.
At Gardiner.
Yep, in Gardiner, which Gardiner always used to be like the elk hunting capital of the world. Like, if tons of people always went there. most of the elk you see in other parts of the U.S. originated from that herd. So we're close to Daly's Lake here. We can ride right from our house pretty much all the way to Cook City from where we're at on our horses, just following trails.
Yeah, so when you leave the park, the Yellowstone, we're in the Yellowstone River Valley. Yellowstone River flows right through Gardiner, kind of right through the middle of town. And then there's about 10 miles of river valley there from Yankee Jim Canyon south, right? It's about 10 miles, that roughly. Right? And I think you hear the term thrown around, Paradise Valley, thrown around a lot. Do you guys feel like Paradise Valley starts at Yankee Jim Canyon when you're coming north?
Yep. So you go on the other side of Yankee Jim Canyon, you go south. So in between the park line and Yankee Jim Canyon, they call that the Gardiner Basin. You get north of Yankee Jim Canyon, then you enter Paradise Valley. And there's, you have Sphinx Creek and then like the Slip and Slide and Dome Mountain divide there. So it kind of actual divide,
Mm-hmm. And so Paradise Valley is what, like 40 or 50 miles essentially from Yankee Jim Canyon to Livingston.
Yep, roughly.
With the Yellowstone River flowing right down the middle of it. So like you're saying, we're kind of here, we're close to Daly's Lake, so we're kind of close to the south end of what we're talking about.
Yep.
And this is like, it's just one of the most picturesque places in the world.
No, it's not. Don't tell people that. I mean, you can come visit.
It's very windy, though.
It does get very, very windy here.
People don't like it here because of the wind.
And I think when you hear that this place gets windy, it's easy to imagine like, oh, the wind must blow like 25 miles an hour sometimes. And we lived about 10 miles north of where we are now. Caitlin and I, when we married, we lived in a little development at Chicory that's grown a lot. We drove through it today, but it's grown a lot since then. I can just remember laying in that house, particularly in the late winter, and the wind is so strong that it just feels like the whole house was vibrating. And you just think like there's no way the roof is not going to blow off of this house tonight. Like there's no way. I mean, it's 70, 80 mile an hour sustained winds. Like Livingston is one of the places where it blows trucks off the interstate. It sometimes blows trains off the train tracks. It is incredibly windy. Like I feel like you pay for the stunning beauty of this place with the wind.
And even when the winds aren't that high, just the fact, like, just having a 15 to 20 mile an hour wind for like 4 months straight is tiring.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely wears on you after. Come March, you're definitely ready for a break.
Yeah. But it is a pretty place.
Yeah.
And you guys here, Daly Lake is one of the places that we often came to for hunting and fishing and other things. This is just such a nice spot you guys landed in. What else do we want to talk about? I mean, I have
some hunting stories, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
I was actually laughing the other day because I sent somebody a picture of me in the life vest.
I was just thinking that was hilarious.
The day I forgot my blaze orange.
I feel like, and it's like it's such a minuscule thing compared to what you guys have given us in terms of help hunting and knowledge about horses. But like the only thing that we brought to this hunting partnership was a boat and a little bit of know-how with boats. Is that fair,
And
Alison?
some comic relief, probably.
That was so funny that day.
So I don't know. Somebody want to tell a little bit of the Fort Peck hunting story?
I think Caitlin should.
Honestly, the only thing, we didn't really run into that much stuff. I had an elk tag, right? I had a cow elk tag. Mm-hmm. And we were hunting some deer and doing some fishing. And the only things I remember are not seeing a whole lot for wildlife. for getting my blaze orange back at the shanty, I guess. We got on the boat and went to our hunting spot, and I realized I didn't have it, and had the great idea of digging up the orange life vest from one of the compartments.
I thought that was so smart. Like, you could just see your wheels spinning. Like, what am I going to do?
Yeah, I didn't want to sit at the boat.
Yeah, and Mike was like, well, we're going to have to go back. And that's when you pulled out the orange life vest.
Yeah, it was hot. It's not the most comfortable.
No.
It was awesome.
Yeah. Other than that, on that trip, I think we got out at one point because we spotted a group of cow elk from the lake coming close to the end of the day. And you and I think, ran up the hill pretty quick. What?
No, I was just gonna set the scene a little bit, just with
Set the scene.
Well, just if people have been listening or want to go back to the unscheduled landings episode, we did a whole thing about a big boat wreck that my dad and Matt and I had up on the lake. But here in north central to northeast Montana, there's a huge reservoir called Fort Peck Reservoir, and it's entirely surrounded by the Charles M. Russell National Wildlife Refuge, and you can hunt all of it. It's amazing. The hunting's not as good as it used to be, I don't think, up there. But so basically, we go to this boat launch, one of the few developed areas on the south shore of the lake at Hell Creek, Crick or Creek, Mike?
Crick.
It's always Crick. It's always Crick here in Montana.
Creeks in the floor.
The floor creaks.
Yeah.
I got you. And so anyway, Fort Peck, super fun place to hunt. We took the boat up to Hell Creek that time. Did we camp?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then every day we'd go out and hunt from the boat. Caitlin, you had an elk tag, and I think we were all kind of deer hunting or trying to deer hunt.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of those tough years, right?
Yeah.
I missed a buck, and then I immediately twisted my ankle afterwards, and I don't know if you guys remember. I don't handle pain well, so I get really mad, and so then I was just
but I think
really
you still
mad
also
the
get
rest of
really
the
quiet,
time.
right?
I don't know. I felt like
she
you guys had to avoid me for a while because I was so mad.
She was pretty mad that she missed that deer.
Yeah, and then
I know that feeling.
and then the pain. I was like, yeah. Mike can attest to my pain tolerance not being very high.
It's funny because I don't even remember you missing the buck, Allison.
I didn't either.
I remember, just the time together having fun. I remember fishing. We were, we caught a bunch of pike and smallmouth and some walleyes across the Hell Creek. And then I do remember it was a tough week of hunting. Like I said, I don't even remember you missing that buck, Allison, but I do remember it might have been the last night. We were cruising back. I think we'd been into Snow Creek, which is the next big drainage to the west from Hell Creek, and we were running back. And I remember looking up on the hill and being like, "Those look like elk up there." And that was really what we were trying to do, was fill that cow elk tag that Caitlin had.
Were those the first elk we had seen?
I think they were. And so we parked the boat below them and ran up over the hill. And I know I was huffing and puffing. I'm sure you weren't, but and did you guys stay down at the boat or something?
Well, we'd gone up the hill. We'd hiked up there with you guys, but then we kind of hung back.
Yeah, we stayed back a little bit.
And I just remember it was right at last light. And we kind of poked over the top of the hill, and they were within rifle range, and there was a tree that it was tall enough that I could have shot off the limb, and I was trying to get.
You were in that mode where you're like, just rest the gun right there. And you're like, that's like my eye level. I can't do that. But I don't know if they had winded us. It all happened really fast. I mean, finally seeing them to us arguing over where I should rest to them being gone was probably 30 seconds.
Yeah, it was.
It wasn't like we got up there and we could be, calm and had a lot of time. I think probably also with the waning light. But.
Right. It was the end of the day. It was one of those situations you had to go. You had to just get after them and take a risk. And
so I don't know if right when we saw them that some of them knew something was up, because it all happened really
I think
pretty
so.
fast.
I think we poked up over there and they saw us, or maybe they winded us.
Or one or
whatever.
two of them.
Yeah. We didn't get one.
No.
But it was a fun hunt, and we do have pictures of Caitlin wearing a life jacket as her orange vest to make her Montana legal for rifle hunting.
I think that was one of my most fun fishing experiences with you guys. I mean, I'm not a big fisher person, but that was really fun. Mm-hmm. Yeah, right up there. That and Alaska are like the two most fun. Because it was fun because we were catching fish and really big fish. And granted, I didn't know what most of them were, but it was fun.
Yeah. Now, when we first started hanging out with you guys, I don't want to insult you, Mike, but you were maybe not the most widely traveled person. What was the thing you always said that I loved?
Yeah, one time, I don't know if it was Easter or something, you asked me, like, so how far east have you been? I think for a minute. Mandan, North Dakota.
At that point, you had made it as far east as Mandan, North Dakota.
Yep.
But you guys have done some pretty serious traveling since then, right?
Yeah, we've been real fortunate. Traveled up to Alaska a couple times. Been to South Africa hunting. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we've definitely.
Hawaii.
Oh yeah, Hawaii.
You went to Michigan.
Yeah. So definitely, traveled quite extensively since then.
And one of your last big trips was Alaska, right?
It was, yeah.
I know it wasn't a successful hunt, but just a little bit about that trip.
So, since I was a kid, one thing I'd always wanted to do is go to Alaska and hunt Dall sheep. But like in Alaska, the way it's set up, if you want to hunt sheep or grizzly bear, you have to go with an outfitter. There's no other way around it. So price is what keeps a lot of people from doing it. And so I was in a good spot, and I was able to, I had a little construction business for a while. So I made the sound decision to sell a dump truck to fund this move.
I love it.
And
it sounds totally responsible to me, by the way.
Yeah, it is. And so, yeah, I knew I wanted to do this hunt, so I sold this truck. There's a booking agent out of Butte that I use. I was like, this is the criteria. You know, I want to be a horseback hunt, this time of year, the first hunt. Anywhere in Alaska, and so they come back, and it was in the south slope of the Brooks Range. It just phenomenal country, but so I booked it 2 years out, so I knew I had time to plan and everything, get everything in order, because I'd never done anything like this, and she'd never done anything like this, and I'm sure you can get a agent or whatever to handle most everything, but we just did it all ourselves, which was pretty easy. So yeah, we're ready to go, get in shape, get all of our gear, and head out to Alaska. And it was just a phenomenal experience. You don't see any fences up in that country, and I've never seen such. They say in Montana, like, wow, that's some big country. Mm-hmm. When you're in Alaska, that's some big country. Just sure. That whole, like, when you're flying, you see that Alaskan mountain range. Like, that's the real deal there. Like, wow. And then we landed in Fairbanks. That's where we stayed before we got into a little charter, and it took us into our camp in the Brooks Range. And the Brooks Range is a relatively, I don't know, I think the highest peak's like around 6,000 feet or something. But, I mean, it's all still pretty steep and stuff, and lots of creek crossings, and those water bodies swell up real fast with even minimal amounts of rain, and there's a lot of logistics that go into hunting all that stuff. But yeah, so we spent 10 days up there hunting. We saw a few grizzly bears, about a dozen sheep. Yeah, and saw, Alaska, they've been having a lot of hard winters, so they've had multiple years of like huge sheep die-offs, like they'd get snow, and then it'd rain hard on top of it, and it'd just freeze solid, and they'd just starve to death. So the sheep hunt's been real tough up there, and I know they've shut down some areas. But it was just such a great experience. You know, you ride these little mountain fjords all over. They're about 13 hands high.
Oh, are they
Yeah.
Icelandic horses?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool.
It's really easy to get on and off, but like
What's the benefit of them being smaller?
I don't know what they
Why
like
they
them.
like 'em.
I don't know.
Wasn't there something with their feet being
Well-
good in the like tundra setting or something? Or
Well,
am I
some
making
like if
that
you
up?
have like a regular quarter horse, they got itty bitty like smaller feet, so they sink easier
Gotcha,
in that
yeah.
tundra type stuff. Where they say these fjords will go through it easier.
Those horses really are all over Iceland.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of them there. Pretty cool. Allison, was it a worthwhile experience?
Oh, it was phenomenal.
Would you go back?
Yeah, I would love to, and it'd be so much fun to for Mike to kind of fulfill that. But he was such a good sport because he knows it's hunting, and so there's no guarantees. But it is challenging when it's such an expensive trip, and you don't come home with what you want. So I think he kind of handled it better than me. I was just so disappointed for him because. I kind of felt like it was once in a lifetime trip. I don't think he has any more trucks to sell to do another one.
Fresh
And like everything, the costs keep going up. So, I would love to do it again, but given the choice, I probably would go have other experiences first.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I hope you get your sheep, Mike.
Someday maybe.
Yeah.
No,
I
there's
did.
a couple. big
Well,
ones.
yeah, and
So-
that's the thing I wanted to talk about is one of the things that I think is really impressive about you guys from a hunting accomplishment standpoint is that you have both harvested a sheep in the Gardiner-area unlimited bighorn unit, right?
Yep.
So, I mean, just I guess a little bit about that hunting unit, Mike. We don't need any details really, but like bighorn sheep hunting is generally most places a really hard thing to get a tag for.
Yep. You either have to be real lucky or rich.
It's better to be really rich, but you might get one by being really lucky.
Yep.
But there's a couple unique opportunities in Montana, right? So what's
and
the
I don't
what's
think
the
they're in
story?
any other state.
I think there's 5 units. There's 2 here close to us, and then 3 over sort of like you get over kind of by Big Timber, and so it's a really neat, unique thing. So you can just go into the sporting goods store before May 1st, say I want to hunt this unlimited sheep district, and they'll just sell you one.
And so then the way that they control the harvest is through a quota. Caitlin, explain the idea of the quota?
It's just to, depending on what your objective is, it's usually to try to maintain trophy quality with, keeping enough older age class rams coming up and currently to sustain hunting for a while. So they'll put a quota on that and usually a curl restriction. I think that's what it is here too.
Yep.
So if you're fortunate enough to harvest a sheep, how long do you know, Allison, how long do you have to check it in?
Is it 24 or 48?
So I believe they just changed it to 24 hours now.
So if you harvest a sheep, you have to call Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Parks
Yeah.
and tell them you harvested a sheep. And then essentially they have a set number of sheep that can be harvested from any of these units. Is it still 2?
Yep.
So there's only 2 sheep can be harvested per year in this unlimited unit.
And unlimited stands for unlimited tags to be sold.
Right. So essentially anybody that wants a tag can get one, but you could, as a non-resident, you could buy a tag and be like, well, because you have to buy it ahead of time and be like, oh, I'm going to go there and hunt for a week. But even if you come the first week of the season, it does happen sometimes that 2 rams get harvested on day 1 and then that's it. The season's over.
Yep.
And Caitlin, you mentioned curl restriction. Is it full curl?
3/4.
It's 3/4 curl. And do you know how they measure that, Caitlin?
I think they draw. Mike will probably know better. I think they draw a line from the base through the eye.
Yep.
So it's from the front of the horn base,
yep,
on the front side of the horn,
yep,
through the back side of the eye,
through any portion of the eye,
any portion of the eye. And so, like, you literally, I'm sitting here looking at Mike's sheep. You literally draw that line, and when you're looking at the sheep perfectly broadside, if the horn comes past that imaginary line, then it's legal to harvest.
Yep.
So it's 2 sheep. It has to be a male sheep, and it has to be 3/4 curl or bigger.
Correct.
And you guys have each harvested a bighorn sheep that way, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
We've been real fortunate.
Yeah.
And obviously, this is the kind of hunting like we talk about in New Mexico sometimes with the limited draw approach that we have for all kinds of big game in New Mexico that, you know, a lot of times things like let's say this elk hunt that Caitlin's been on twice now. You're a little more likely to kind of talk to people about where you were and what you were doing and what the approach to hunting them is, because like the chances that either Caitlin or I have that hunt again anytime soon, and particularly would have the hunt at the same time as somebody we might be talking to, is like really low. So it's not like this hunt is exactly the opposite of that, right, Mike?
Exactly. I mean, you might have a few good buddies or something that you like will share some information with, but yeah, it's like once you kind of figure out how the sheep are moving or whatever, you kind of try and keep that to yourself.
Yeah, like if we were friends for another 20 years, you might let us in on a secret or two. but, you know, we'll see how things go here over the next 2 to 3 decades.
Are you guys free to put in for that tag now?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, that's because that's the other
period where they couldn't. Yeah.
That's the other thing. If you successfully harvest a sheep, then what's that you can't
7 years. You have a 7-year wait with moose, sheep, or goat.
You can't apply for.
So if
you can apply for moose and goat,
you can. But if you draw any of those tags and harvest an animal,
right?
And I think so if you draw like a goat tag or a moose tag, and I think even if you don't harvest, you have to wait.
Right. And then you guys have also harvested 3 other bighorn sheep in Montana, right?
Correct. Ewes. And in the special draw units, there's areas you can put in when you're in that 7-year wait where you can put in for ewe tags. And so that's what we ended up doing.
So the waiting period is only for rams.
Yes.
And there are areas where there's actually so many sheep that they're harvesting some ewes to reduce the population for whatever reason.
Yep.
And so you guys have harvested 5 bighorn sheep total between you.
Yep, correct.
And Mike, your sheep is pretty close to 3/4 curl. I mean, it's obvious it's illegal.
I mean, it was. Yeah, we had to study it for a minute, but it was clearly legal. You could tell. But like Alison's was, like you could see it with the bear. Like you could see it from a long ways off. Oh, there's a legal ram.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a nice ram.
Yeah,
right. It's. I mean, how many days do you think between you, if you had to just roughly estimate, like how many days do you think you've sheep hunted to kill those 2 rams?
Oh man.
like if
Like, are you counting like scouting time though?
Sure.
Mike really put in a lot of time scouting. For me, really, I don't know how it was for your ram. I don't even have a guess.
The ram I had killed, so I hadn't even been out too much that year. But a friend had seen it and called. Like I was working, and he called me, and so I went up there and killed it that day. So I was lucky that.
How far into the hunt window was that from the hunt day of the hunt opening?
Oh, it was 20. The season been open for 20 days.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, trying to get an idea. I don't want people to be like, people go and shoot, like you go and shoot a sheep in Gardiner.
No, it's hard because it's hard just finding the sheep. The sheep might not be there, and then one day they show up. But so like with Alison's, I want to say I almost went out every day.
Oh, you did? But for how long?
Either we were on horses or, out glassing from roads. And so the season opened September 15th. And so we'd been out from opening day, and I think it was like the 14th, 13th, or somewhere right in there when you killed yours.
But I'm thinking of like the month that you scouted. Like you would go out and glass like every day before
the season started.
Opened.
Yeah.
Like you put in a lot of time to see if there were even.
And like that year, it kind of messed me up because there was a forest fire. They closed part of it off where I wanted to access, so we had to go through another part. But
well, yeah, and then like you guys have been hunting sheep this year again. You're back to doing it. I mean, it's like it's got to be more than 100 days. Of time invested in those two sheep.
Easily, like I have at least 30 solid days into the ram Alison killed
in one season to kill one ram.
Yeah.
And again, like, there's some seasons where I think I can remember seasons that I was here that none of the rams got harvested. Like they never showed up anywhere that you could hunt them.
Yep.
I hunted it a year or two and I saw sheep, but I've never saw a legal ram. And, and then there are years where there's two sheep out on the first day and somebody knows about it and they get taken, and then that's it. That's the whole season.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I mean, it really is an impressive thing that you guys have each killed a ram. It's a testament to a lot of hard hunting for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of these unlimited units have become pretty popular, but I think a lot of people just buy a tag because you can, and like, well, maybe I'll get out and go sheep hunting, or maybe I'll be elk hunting or something and run into a ram.
And then as cool as your rams are, I think the coolest sheep that you've killed is the one that looks like her horns look like a strong wind is blowing. It's hard to describe. We almost have to take a picture and post it because it really does look like these horns that they're blown to the right side, right?
Yep.
As you look at her, it's like this crazy bend, like very uniform though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what caused that.
They're curved to the side.
That unit, it's a special draw, so it's over by kind of in between West Yellowstone and Ennis. And I don't know if it was that hunt or when Allison had that U-tag. There's this ram over there. He just died of old age a couple years ago, but he had this horn that curled all the way around and went across his nose. You knew this ram was easy to spot, but he just had died a couple years ago.
Maybe that's some of those genetics.
I wonder.
Yeah. And we've had a ton of hunting adventures together. You guys have been in New Mexico a few times. We took you on the worst turkey hunt. I mean, I don't think you can spend more time in the woods.
We saw
a
turkey. Saw a turkey.
But it was a legal turkey to harvest. It was a bearded hen.
Yeah.
But we all chose not to do that. We never heard a turkey gobble, did we?
No.
I don't think so.
Well, you had called one time and some hens started coming down, but then it was goes up quickly. And you're like, oh, that's not.
But we had a really fun hunt, Allison.
Oh gosh.
Right? You had an Oryx tag.
I was just talking to Orrin about that the other day because he reminded me that he was out that week too, that they were
Oh yeah, another friend of ours.
Yep.
But yeah, so I mean that hunt was on White Sands Missile Range, and that was a once in a lifetime hunt that you drew.
Yeah. Super fun.
I was just looking at the mount in the garage when you opened that
did you see
door.
That?
It's really awesome.
Yeah. I know, it's beautiful.
That was brutal.
It's bigger than I remember.
There, Allison,
what a testament to friendship that I've just failed you guys on so many fronts.
What are you talking
But
about?
it was still fun. But
It was so fun.
Again, I was super frustrated. And to this day, I mean, the only thing that makes sense to me is that I think, Mike, that you were probably right. Like maybe I wasn't following through because I really thought, I have to say that going into this hunt was probably the most confident I had been in my shooting. And it all just went to poo. But I really thought I truly had like something wrong with my rifle because I felt so good about shooting and Well, we know how long that took.
It's
Awful.
We should do an Oryx episode sometimes, but they're African plains antelope that were introduced into New Mexico, and they're the toughest critters in North America as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I've never chased big bears, and if your first shot isn't perfect, they somehow become like indestructible.
Oh my goodness.
And
There's so many stories of that.
Their vitals are in a different spot also than say you're used to shooting a deer, elk,
Right. Like if you hold right behind the shoulder like you would on an elk, you've hit them too far back.
Yeah.
And Allison, there was a little bit of shooting. Whatever.
It was
fine.
Do you recall there was like a rifle change, a lot of distance covered?
We got the Oryx.
I'm so grateful, truly, that we got her.
She's hanging in the garage. So.
Awesome.
Yeah, she's beautiful. That's a great.
I guess I'm just trying to give
it would
you
have been
memorable
fun
stories.
if it was easy. If we just,
that
pulled
would have
up
been
and
boring.
stepped out of the vehicle and walked 20 yards and got one. That would have been fun.
And then another thing that I love about you guys, and that I think is just a testament to how much fun it is to be together, and why it's fun to be together, is Caitlin. You mentioned Orrin, another friend, had the same hunt. We were in a good area. We were seeing a lot of Oryx. I think we didn't harvest on day one, right?
Yeah.
It was the second.
Right.
It was
Right.
the second day when you
Yeah.
harvested, and we had told Orrin and his wife Erin were hunting together, and we had told them kind of about where we were and that we thought they should come over and hunt that area. They went somewhere in the morning, and then they ended up in the afternoon in the same area. So we got yours in the morning, and then we were like, oh, I wonder where Orrin and Erin ended up, because cell phones weren't working well or whatever. And we literally left your Oryx, and we drove like a little ways, right?
Yeah.
And stopped. I think we saw their truck.
Yep.
And we're like, oh, how handy. And then Caitlin said, I think I heard a shot. And I don't hear nearly as well as everybody else, so maybe everybody heard the shot, right? And then sure enough, one of us glassed them up, and it's like, what are they doing? Like, oh, they're standing over an Oryx. It was clear, like, oh, they got one. That's awesome. And Orrin had broken his shoulder, right? Or
I can't remember if it was maybe separated. He had injured his shoulder.
He had a
pretty bad.
really serious shoulder injury that he was like still struggling through.
Right.
Because it was a January hunt, right? Mm-hmm. So I think he had like a snowboard wreck in December or something. And we were like, well, you guys willing to go help? Like, and this was just like, yep. We all took off out of the truck and, probably covered a mile or a little bit more or something, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it was pretty far. It wasn't like right next to the road, and just did it. Just helped Orrin get that thing skinned and quartered and packed back to the truck. And you guys never batted an eye about, pitching in and helping, and you didn't know Orrin from Adam. So yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah.
It was a good hunt and a fun experience together.
It really was.
Yeah, I don't know. We've been on so many of these things. I always love Caitlin killed a really nice mule deer buck that you guys took us on up Mill Creek, which is close to here. It was a funny story.
Yeah, it was funny. It took us a while to decide if we even wanted to try to shoot at him.
I know. We rode up. I don't know how you guys remember this, but we rode up on this absolutely beautiful big 3-point mule deer buck, laid out wide buck. Just a beautiful buck. And he was laying there with a doe. And we got off the horses and looked at him with the binos. And Mike and I were like,
standing out in the open.
I don't know. Yeah, he was bedded.
Mm-hmm. We were standing.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah. We're standing there 200 yards from him, kind of talking about it. Mike and I are like, I don't know. He's not that big. I don't want to shoot him. And then we decided to split up. And I think you, Allison, you were like, well, I'd shoot him. And Caitlin was like, yeah, I think I'd shoot him. And we split up and kind of went at him from two different paths. And he stood up, and Caitlin was just ready right when he stood up.
Well, and I had the broadside angle.
Yeah. And you you got him. And then we walked up there. I'll never forget walking up on that deer, and I look at him like, what was I thinking?
Yeah, he's real nice, like a 27-inch 3-point buck.
I think
heavy.
Yeah.
I don't know what Caitlin thinks, but I think like when we saw him, it's like, well, that's a pretty nice buck, I guess. But then I think he got bigger the longer we stood there.
Yeah.
Till Caitlin and I were like, wait, I think that's a really nice buck. And then when you walked up, it was not disappointing at all. You're like, holy cow, that's a huge buck.
Yeah. But that was definitely one of those that always felt like our buck. You know what I mean?
Oh,
and
yeah.
we were all standing there talking about, well, should we, who?
No. 100% no difference who pulled the trigger there.
Right.
It was just,
the Thanksgiving buck.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
And again, I mean, it was totally an experience where you guys drug us up the hill on horses. Like, we would have never gotten up there without you guys.
No.
So much grace in even considering letting us be the ones to shoot the deer, No, I just want to say again, I mean, how much I appreciate everything you guys have done for us over the years and the continuing friendship, the fact that, we don't see each other for a couple of years and we can come back here, fall right back into it. You guys open your home to us and now to our kids. You let them swim in the hot tub. Emmett discovered that Mike and Alison have a hot tub, and it didn't take him long to be totally derobed and, in his opinion, ready to be in the hot tub. But no, I mean, you guys are amazing. I mean, both from your accomplishments as hunters, your skill with horses and getting around the mountains, and and the friendship has just been amazing. And so, thank you guys so much. I can't wait until the next time we can get together and hunt. I think maybe I have you halfway talked into trying another turkey hunt in New Mexico, despite the last experience.
No, that'd be fun.
Anyway, I don't know. Anybody got anything on closing here?
No, I'm just looking forward to whatever our next adventure is going to be.
For sure. Yeah, I like that. I like that we can pick up where we left off and just keep doing that. But to this day, like, and it's not just one, it's like all my favorite hunting memories are usually with you guys. Just, we've done a lot of fun stuff. So
we really have.
Yeah, we miss having you guys here, but
Yeah.
Well,
you're welcome anytime.
Maybe someday we'll come home.
Yeah. Telling you, the neighbors is for sale.
And I appreciate your willingness to try new things. Allison said she wasn't going to talk on the podcast, but man. I think you've done great. So thanks so much for everything.
It's all part of the adventure.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for listening. As always, you can find all of our content on the website, www.outdoorrules.com. The Instagram page is there. Exciting things are happening. We do have all of the episodes up on YouTube now, which is relatively new, so you can find episodes there or on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. And, as always, biggest thing is we love to hear from people. So if you want to reach out with an episode idea, or question or anything else, just shoot us an email, outdoorrules@gmail.com. Thanks again, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Hunting and fishing, the great outdoors, mixing history, laughter, love, and folklore, creating memories with family and friends. These are the trophies that matter in the end. Outdoor Rules.